That's right, it's a car. You've already seen it, but this is in fact a vehicle. Here I am going 700ths faster at the end of my second flying lap. And in the end we get P13, which, you know, I was very, very pleasantly surprised by that. Like I said, I was anticipating 19th. Maybe I could just squeeze in to Q2. I was thinking I'd be down at about P17 by the end of this first lap. But I have a absolute miracle start. I have never ever had a start this good in any F1 career mode ever, apart from maybe in those old games we could dive up the inside of like 10 cars in the first corner or whatever. But I went from P13 to P7 in the first two corners. I was flabbergasted by how well that launch went. And it doesn't end there, you know. I thought, why not send one on Gasly? And then Alonso has a bit of a wobble, and I go past Alonso. And before you know it, in the span of, what, 4 or 5 corners, I am in P5 in my first ever race. That's not a bad first lap, is it? I'm across the line, 5 tenths ahead of him for P13. So, you know, I just tried to keep on with my race, get my head down, and what happens, you know. Leclerc, with an absolute send on Pierre Gasly there. I couldn't quite believe what I was seeing when he did that. And then we get absolutely bombarded by Mark. He sends about 4 messages, and I, you know, my brain is just like, Mark, just calm down, please. But yeah, unfortunately, the engine gives out on lap 8, which was a shame because I think this race was a real chance to get some points, but no points were to be had, unfortunately. The F1 gods said no, thank you. But I have enough battery saved up, and I get the DRS to Leclerc. That Albon isn't a threat behind me, and subsequently, that's it. Shocked at how little pace we have in this race. You know, we're 7 seconds down on Latifi. Stroll's got a problem, and we couldn't even reel him in when he had a problem. That's the pace that we're looking at here. We can't even catch an Aston Martin with a mechanical problem, and it's P18 in the end. P18. And now you're gonna see what happens here. Sainz goes to the place that I'm covering off, and he goes into the side of me and loses his front wing. I was trying to let him through. I tried so hard. And then I don't know if you caught there, but a puff of smoke came out of the back of his car. So I don't know if me breaking his front wing was the reason why his engine blew up. Yeah, this is proper racecraft. This is the kind of race you could only have with Fernando Alonso. You know, you've seen all those highlights of him against Sebastian Vettel, against Mark Webber, against so many drivers over the years. Even that epic defense he put up against Lewis Hamilton in Hungary last year in a much slower car. He is a titan, and he's not going to go lightly. So I'm going to have a real job on my hands. Going down into the chicane, he forces me off the track there. There was nowhere I could have gone without massively slowing down. And yeah, that allows him through, and it also allows my teammate Christian Lundgaard through. And now we are down in P19. We lose 2 places in 2 corners again, effectively. I'm burning all of my battery. I'm going to have DRS to the line, but the line just comes up too quickly. And it will be P19 in this race. Another P18, P19. All that happened there was me and Lundgaard swap places. Fernando Alonso gets driver of the day. That was a kick in the balls. He only finished like 17. Well, so here comes Mick Schumacher. There's Lance Stroll stopped on track, and he just goes straight into the back of him and loses his tyre. But why was Stroll there in the first place? You see that I pan to Kevin Magnussen just in time to catch him do a spin as he exits that corner. And then I believe that is Gasly going into the front of him. And you see, I believe that is a Williams. Yep, that is the Williams of Alex Albon, I believe, catching up with Gasly and Magnussen, desperately looking for a way through. Can't find it, reversing all over track. I believe that is Norris going through as Albon takes a hit. Stroll also trying to go through. I think Latifi goes through at some point here. as well as Stroll has stopped on track. Yeah, there's Latifi as well. He goes into the back of Magnussen, and Magnussen's reversing on track, and that's probably where Magnussen picked up one of his penalties, and you see now he's just stopped there. There goes Lundgaard, there goes me, there goes the two Ferraris. That was a mega incident. That was a massive incident, and I was more than happy to thrive off of that with all the damage that everyone else got, and I was just glad not to get damaged myself. And now we come down the back straight. You see that we didn't manage to catch Lundgaard in the end. I think, my tyres were a bit older than his, and I think that enabled him to just about run away with the pace this weekend when it came to the last few laps. You see he's now, 3 seconds ahead of me compared to earlier. But, that's alright. That's not too big a deal. We crossed the line, and it's going to be P15, a much better result than I was expecting, even 2 laps ago. So I'm very, very delighted with that. And P14 for Lundgaard as well, I believe his best result of the season so far. That's going to give him a run on us. He'll have DRS. We're going to have to burn all of our battery to get down the hill. And you see he still goes up the inside. We try and drag it around the outside of him. And surprisingly, I think he may have had a bit of oversteer or something there, because he looked like he was wobbling slightly, and that allows us to stay ahead of him for now. But I think he could still put pressure on us. He's in such a fast car that through any of these corners he could be a threat. I'm going to have to take these very, very well. It's not terrible, but you see he's still got a lot of speed, and he's closing us down as we get into the final straight. As we cross the line, we just managed to stay ahead. That can only have been a matter of milliseconds, and it is P17, and we keep Hamilton at bay for now. As we round the final corner, as we come up to the line, it is going to be another P21. We cross the line, and it will be P20. Not our finest hour, but we look a lot less like a laughing stock than we looked beforehand. We really are the Mazepin of this year's F1 season. Just throw money at the problem and see if it makes you a better driver. And as we come to the line, it is going to be P20. And unfortunately, it's just another one of those races. I feel like there was nothing I could do that would have improved my result there. I'm driving flat out, and I can't contend with these cars around me. Obviously our only failure so far has been Jeddah, but it is a mechanical failure. Oh, fuck. That one hurts, and it really, really hurt at the time. Finally we've got a bit of pace in the car. Finally we're contending with the cars in front of us, and engine failure. Simple as. Corner, but it will be fine, and in the end we cross the line at P70. It's not the best result in the world, but I'm not gonna complain about it. It's certainly a step up from P20 and 21 and the like, which have been happening in a number of the Grand Prix I've been doing recently. So now we're looking at Schwartzman, number 83. He's the purple car behind. He almost goes into the back of me, or maybe he does there, as he's desperately trying to find a way through. And as we come around the last few corners, he eventually does find a way through. You see I'm going into the pits though, and he moves out of the way and turns into Latifi. And you see here, Latifi is out as a result of that. He busted one of Latifi's tyres. And that is the end of Latifi's race, and a safety car is called. But we're just not quite fast enough to maintain position with Schwartzman, and so in the end of the race it is only good enough for P21. And that is a pretty brutal result, unfortunately for us. Time, and apart from that, we haven't maybe Singapore, I don't know. But anyway, we crossed the line, and it's P19. Not my most perfect race of all time, but we just, again, still no pace in the straights. I kind of knew it was going to be like this, and that's a bit of a disappointment all around. Managed to keep the position for now. But what he's really doing, this is what I really get frustrated with the AI in this game, is that they go for so many dodgy dive bombs that means you kind of have to... But here we are, and we come through the final chicane, up to the line, and we just about managed to consolidate this position, and it will be P11, best result of the season.
So Albon goes for a little move down the inside. He will have the DRS here because the DRS detection point is far behind where we are at the moment. And even with my battery, I don't think there's going to be much hope of me making this one happen. So he gets ahead of us. We try and dive down the outside, but he parks his car beautifully on the apex. And yeah, he has made the move happen. But I am pitting this lap. We'll see whether he is or not. And I don't know, perhaps we can pull off an undercut, perhaps he'll pull off not an overcut, but something equivalent to that. We'll see if we can hold Carlos Sainz, Ferrari driver, I believe the best car on the grid. We'll see if we can hold him behind just until the end of this lap to match our season best result of P11, which we also got in Japan. But one thing is for certain, this was recorded, and Japan also was recorded shortly after they addressed the AI balance issues, and it seems to have worked, maybe even too much, because I've got two P11s in the worst car, so who knows. But it is P11, we do finish ahead of Carlos Sainz, and not a bad race from us, kept out of trouble. A nice battle with Albon all the way through basically, and we get the better of him, and it's good enough for driver of the day, which is something you love to see. And if I'm not mistaken, Charles Leclerc is the world champion. He's doing donuts just to celebrate. I don't know if there's still cars on track. That looks a little bit dangerous to me, but I don't think he cares. He has dethroned Max Verstappen, who was doing his damnedest to try and get a second world championship in a row. It's not going to happen for him. Sergio Perez is third, Hamilton is second, and yeah, Leclerc takes the win to seal the championship. Not something you see every day, someone winning and closing the championship on a win. So the lights come on. And the lights go out. Here we go. It's a pretty good start. We are on the soft compound tyres, so it's to be expected that we would be faster than the medium compound tyre runners. But yeah, we've already cleared Magnussen. This is pretty good. We're pushing quite hard on the battery, seeing if we can clear Albon into the first corner potentially. Magnussen's actually coming back at us now. We go for a bit of a send. So does Esteban Ocon. And now we're battling with Lance Stroll. Sebastian Vettel is battling with Esteban Ocon as well. We'll see if we can potentially get ahead of him. We're going to burn some more battery going through here. We're already pushing super hard on the battery, trying to make up these places. I need these points, you know. I want that bonus that the sponsor's offering us. However much it is, 4 million, 5 million, I don't remember. It's going to make such a big difference. And also, anywhere we can finish in the championship. Remember, we got to score 8 points to be ahead of the other teams in the championship now. So, or more than 8 points even, I think. Because I think they've both got 8 points. So yeah, if we want to make up a position, we have to basically get, I think, like 9 or 10 points over the course of the next 3 races, which the minimum sort of finishing positions you can do for that is going to be, I'm trying to think, 9 points. It's going to be like 2 8ths and a 10th is going to be the worst that we can do and still get that. So let's see what actually happened to cause these 3 cars to retire. So we're riding on board with, I believe this is Albon. And you see Vettel gets his wing knocked off. Bottas goes into him as well. I think Schwartzman goes into the back of Joe, which causes Joe's wheel to fall off. And then Albon drives away like nothing happened. But you see Vettel and Bottas here, both sort of pulling over. And that's their race over. Joe's race is over as well. And here you go, you see we're being pressured quite hard by Magnussen behind us. We managed to keep him behind through the 2 DRS straights, obviously no DRS at the moment. And then Esteban Ocon gets held up by, I think that's Verstappen getting ahead of Ricciardo. And we take our chances, you know. Ocon got held up a bit. I'm going to try and go out the inside in a sort of Ricciardo-esque move, if you remember the move that Ricciardo made on Tsunoda at Mexico in real life this year. Obviously, we pulled it off a little bit more cleanly, and we are up into P11, just one place away from the points, with many cars ahead of us still yet to stop. Yeah, I'm assuming mechanical failure for Magnussen. We're riding on board with him now as he comes around the final corner. He pulls over to the side, I assume for some kind of failure, and Albon plows straight into the back of him, and yeah, that's his race over. So that was really bizarre. I slowed down because I was like, why is Hamilton slowing down? And then I realised that he was retiring from the race with a mechanical failure as well. So we've already had 4 cars crash out of this race and 2 mechanical failures, and we're only on lap 15. See, I got a bit racy with Daniel Ricciardo there, but thought better of it. You know, there's no point trying to go for something stupid here and ending our race. Ocon's now challenging us because of me going for that dicey move, and we're going to go 3 wide at the end of that DRS straight, and I do actually manage to make the move work on Daniel Ricciardo. We'll see if he can keep Ocon behind. It looks like he is just about managing it, but now we are in legitimately P5, and you see, as well as Perez having the mediums on, Sainz, who I don't think has stopped yet, is also on the medium compound tyre, and so that means we are in net P3 at the moment. But obviously Norris is still there for the time being. It looks like it's just some kind of mechanical issue. He has fallen away from Perez and Sainz quite dramatically at this point, but now he's got to do the honourable thing and let his teammate go through. It looks like he's going to defend that position for all his salt. I don't know why you would do that. You know, your teammate is in a much better position than you are, and for some reason, you know, you're going wheel to wheel with him, you're smacking into him, and in doing that, he's allowed me to get back in the fight. I've got DRS, I've got battery, Norris has neither of these things. I'm going to go to the outside, Ricciardo to the inside with 3 wide once again, and we're going to see who comes out on top of this battle. I'm going around the outside, Ricciardo had to be at the inside, and it's going to be me who comes through to take P4 off of both McLarens in one corner, in the worst car on the grid. So we're riding on board with Latifi here, the Williams obviously, behind I believe that is Pierre Gasly, and you see here, Ricciardo has had a spin, and Latifi just has nowhere to go. Stroll is out, Schwartzman's out, and Schumacher is out. All the S's, they're all out of the race. And that leaves only 12 cars out of 22 left in this race. Riding on board with Schumacher, the only Haas left in the race. He turns around and he takes out the only Aston Martin left in this race. And then Schwartzman goes into front of him, taking both of them out. Charles Leclerc wins the race. The fireworks go off during the middle of the day. And yeah, there's basically nothing that can stop us now unless he manages to force a late move at the very end. But you see he's fallen away. I think closing the door on him meant he had to sort of slow down a little bit. And that is going to be a P5 finish. First points of the season, and I don't remember the name of the engineer in this game. I think his name is Rob, but I could be wrong about that. No, it's not Rob. I can't remember. What is his name? Mark? It's Mark. Yeah, he couldn't be less thrilled for it. Ferrari wrap up the championship. There's so much to focus on, and we've got 10 points. We take P9 in the championship off of Aston Martin and Williams, and that's points. Back in range with him. Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit more confident about the idea that we might be able to have a bit of a fight in this race. You know, I figured why not be bold and hold people up a little bit, because even if Magnussen and Stroll do catch up, it won't be enough for Aston Martin to overtake us in the championship, I don't believe. Maybe it will actually, but if Magnussen catches, it's not the end of the world, you know. As long as we finish ahead of Stroll, that's the big one. I would happily fight with Stroll. Lap 23, and you see we went round the outside of Valtteri Bottas there in a very nice move. We pulled off what we couldn't pull off on Magnussen earlier in the race, and that has moved us back up into P6. I was confident we could fight with him, and I was right. Now here we are on lap 26. This is the 3-way fight for the lead between Perez, Sainz and Russell. And you see Perez tries to go for a similar move that I did and just clatters straight into Carlos Sainz's front right tyre. And that's a broken front wing for him, and you see that he's having to come into the pits for a brand new set of mediums. Perez is closing us down really quickly, but I think he's just about going to run out of corners. We're going to burn battery to the line here now, and in the end it is just about good enough for P5. So we've done it. That's $6 million in the bank. What is up everyone, and welcome to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed that little recap that we had in the first 20 minutes or so of this video. And now, yeah, we're just going to get into the last few sort of wrap-up bits of the end of the first season, which includes the all infamous contract renewal. Who will we sign? It's yet to be decided. I guess you'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I just wanted to give a few thoughts on, I guess, how the season went and sort of, you know, goals for next season, all that kind of thing. Obviously, you won't see who we sign as a sponsor, but I'll talk a bit more about it as we move forward. All in all, I think the first, you know, based on what we saw, everything up until Singapore, I feel like was a bit of a write-off. And then when we came to Japan, when the new update came in, it kind of was like everything just turned around basically instantly. You know, we were either on the fringes of the points or in the points basically every single race after Singapore. I know we were in the points in Singapore before the DNF, but that was only lap 2 and anything could happen. You know, cars can be rapid down the straights. We signed a new sponsor. We're going to try and complete 75 laps during a race weekend. I believe that includes during practice and qualifying. Shortest race that you get is 22 laps, which is Belgium, so that's probably the only one where we're going to be on the bubble. And even then, I think, you know, our future teammate, whoever it may be, whether it's Schwartzman or someone else, will probably be completing, you know, 15-20 laps in practice over the course of the weekend. So I think we'll still be in with a pretty good shot of reaching it, even in a short track like Belgium. Now we're just having a look through, seeing who's available, seeing that Bottas is no longer there. He's the only driver to have retired at the end of this season. Alonso stays put, and so does Vettel and Ricciardo and I guess Hamilton and anyone else that could potentially be retiring. Have a quick look through. You see, I think we are going to have a brief look here actually at comparing Théo Pourchaire to nah, I'm looking at Enzo Fittipaldi now. I did briefly consider Théo Pourchaire as well, I think, because he's also quite highly rated for his price tag.
Continue to increase our acclaim, more potential partners become willing to work with us. We can now approach an additional sponsor from the corporate tab.
Just making sure we adapt that last part now that it's on the car. Try and get all the different parts that we can on our car before the end of the season. And yeah, I mean, really, like, we've had a good season, you know. Like, we've made big development gains. We've had a couple of points finishes, which is what we set out to do. And one of our employees is trying to get us cancelled on Twitter for being an idiot. But yeah, we got to think strategically about this. We can either fire and gain a lot of team acclaim, but that could shatter the morale of our aero department, which, you know, at the moment when we're trying to make big development gains, we're just going to have to take the hit, unfortunately. You know, I don't know. I don't want to be one of those people that's like, oh, you know, like they're a good person deep down, because at the end of the day, if someone's words hurt someone, I don't feel I'm in the position to say whether who got offended by that should have been offended by it or not. You know, that's up to them. But here we go, ready to re-sign a teammate. We actually could afford Zhou Guanyu if we wanted to, but I think we're going to look for someone a bit cheaper, maybe Robert Schwartzman. Let's compare briefly Théo Pourchaire with Schwartzman. So Pourchaire is better all around, even before the rating boosts are applied. And now we're going to look at Fittipaldi. He's a little bit weaker in a few places, but once we apply those boosts, I think he'll be a little bit ahead actually of where Schwartzman is at the moment. And once we upgrade our facilities a bit more, which we'll be able to afford with the money that we save, the 2.2 million that we'll save, you know, that's going to basically negate the damage that will be done. So he wants 800,000 and as at least team acclaim level 1, which as you can see we're a little bit above that. So we're going to go with a low risk offer, take no chances. Maybe he can get some perks and be even faster. And yeah, that's it. Enzo Fittipaldi has joined Jaguar Racing for the next season 2 of My Team Career Mode. I suppose the canonical 2023 season, as it were. And yeah, we can't wait to welcome him along to the team. We're going to improve our resource point generation, and I don't think we can afford any other facilities.
A major issue on the production line earlier this week, so the entire development package for this weekend has failed.
We did have a failure, unfortunately, which we can't afford. But I think once the rest of our resource points come in, we should be able to do that.
Thanks for handling that.
We get a bit of a discount on another upgrade for next season. We've upgraded one of our facilities.
In a rivalry. Sooner or later, you'll probably be asked by the media who you consider to be your rival. Think carefully who you select, as while you will receive a claim for beating them, you'll lose a claim if you fail to do so.
We get that upgrade again, and then
We've had the new parts come through the fabrication process. We'll have them with us for the next Grand Prix.
we're going to try and get one more facility upgrade, at least in motion, before the end of the season. And then that is going to be that for this season. We receive a big boost. Our team receives a big boost up until level 15. Enzo Fittipaldi only level 5 at the moment, but he'll come good, I'm sure, as time goes on. We get our primary sponsor bonus. We get an extra 2.81 million for finishing 9th, so those 2 positions that we jumped up were well worth it. And yeah, that's 9 million, nearly $10 million we wouldn't have got if we hadn't got those 2 points finishes. So that's big, and that's all. Yeah, I hope I'll see you next season, and until next time, hopefully I'll see you in the next one.